Hello, I'm Bruce Lorincz, and this show is called Bruce on the Loose. I talk to people in various capacities here in Wadsworth City government and also the school system. And now we're on location at Woodlawn Cemetery with Deb Holcomb.
Hello.
Deb, thanks so much for joining us. And
You're welcome.
I learn a great deal from these shows, and it's really good for people in the community to learn some things as well. How long has the Friends of Woodlawn Cemetery been in existence?
We've been around since 2020. We became a nonprofit in the spring of 2020. We did organizational things at the end of 2019. And so we've been here around 3 years.
So how many people directly or indirectly are in the group?
We have approximately 150 members, and that includes individuals from Wadsworth. Some are from out of town. We have service groups that have donated money. We have businesses that have become members. And we have anywhere from $1,000 membership down to $10. And we have members as young as 10 all the way up into their 90s. So it's a wide range of people who are interested in this.
There's a lot of things for upkeep for cemeteries, aren't there? I know we're going to talk today about cleaning and restoration, but I'm sure there's other tasks that need to be done also, aren't there?
Yeah, we have a landscaping crew that's in charge of the flower beds, and we've planted some new trees in the cemetery, and they need upkeep, so we have a landscaping crew that comes in and does that. We weed eat here in the old grounds for the cemetery, and we have a lot of volunteers that do research, and that is really something that I don't really get into, but they love it. They love to get into Find a Grave, Ancestry.com. They go into all kind of records to verify what's here.
Yeah, we've come, and also at Memorial Day, we have the parade, and it comes down here. The band leads the way, and I'm really impressed with such huge trees. You talk about new trees.
Yeah.
Boy, there are some old trees here that have been around for a long, long time.
Right. That they've been here several hundred years, probably 200 or more, because we have old pictures that show these trees are fairly young, but they were still well established, and they're still here. So we figure they're at least 200 years old.
What is the objective? If you could say maybe 2 or 3 objectives of the Friends for Woodlawn Cemetery, what would those be?
We have 3 things that we go by. We honor, preserve, and educate. And we honor those who are buried here. We preserve the monuments, the aesthetics of the cemetery, and then we educate the public.
So those are 3 very, very good goals, and certainly it must make the volunteers very satisfied when you've accomplished at least some of those tasks.
Yeah, we've had a lot of compliments from everybody, and the volunteers are very, very satisfied with the outcome. If it's just cleaning a headstone, when you're done with it, it just shines. You can read it, and it brings it back to what it originally looked like.
What about the relationship between the City of Wadsworth and your group? What is the tying there?
We have this cemetery is called a Union Cemetery, and it's a combination of the city and Wadsworth Township, and they have a 3-member trustee panel, one from the council, one from the Wadsworth Township, and then one individual from the city. And we answer to the trustees then answer to City Council in the Wadsworth Township. So we work in tandem with them, and this would not happen without their support. They're very, very glad that we're doing it, and we're now approaching them with some long-term goals.
A lot of communities look by the old cemeteries. My daughter is a minister in Connecticut and has some tombstones there in the early 1700s. So a lot of history there, but it really has been in disarray for several years.
Yeah.
You probably feel that this was a need, and you and some cohorts approached some people to get this done.
Right. I noticed that especially in the old grounds, the headstones were falling over, broken, sinking into the ground. And I approached the superintendent at that time, was Court LeBeau, and asked him if we could restore it. He was all for it. Anything we could do to help him, he okayed it. And then we went to the trustees and city council. They were all for starting a group that would help out the cemetery.
Well, there's a lot of factors that help that to help happen with regards to the weather and the winter and storms and again, also in just time combined makes it difficult for headstones to stay in one place.
Right, that's right. Most of these are made of marble, which easily deteriorates. They'll crack off. There may have been some vandalism at some time where they were broken off. They sink because they didn't have the knowledge back then in the 1800s of how to set the base properly. So it's a number of factors, and like you said, the weather plays a big part in the deterioration of the reading of the headstone.
How many days in a month would you get together and do some work on the tombstones?
Well, we schedule 4 cleanings and 4 restorations a month. And now this year we've had a little trouble with the weather. It's either been too wet or too hot. So the cleaning is a little bit behind, but we really made it up last year, and we don't have that many more to go in this area, in the old grounds.
So if I was interested in cleaning, I wouldn't have to have a background in construction or masonry, maybe restoration. That would help a little bit, but cleaning, a lot of people could step up and do that, couldn't they?
That's right. We have some people who are in their 70s that like to come and clean, and they get so excited when they come back a few days later, and that headstone has even lightened up more than right after they clean it. So it's something that anybody can do. You just have to do the proper procedure, and we teach them. We teach any volunteer how to do it properly, and we have the correct products that we use.
So people aren't going in without a background.
No.
You certainly would help them to assist them and do it the right way.
Yes, that's right, and that's what we ask. We don't want anybody just coming in and taking Clorox to a headstone. So we want to train them properly, and we have the products that they can use.
All right, now what about the cemetery itself? The size of the cemetery, it's probably deceiving. We're bordering here College Street. We look out and see College, and it's bordered by Beck to the east and
Baldwin to the north.
Baldwin and west to the west. Okay, so, and how many acres is it?
That's about 34 acres.
Wow.
Right, and that is a problem for the superintendent, to make sure he has good help, because with 2 guys, it's a little bit tough, and that was another reason we wanted to help out. So they get seasonal workers that come in, and they've done a beautiful job of maintaining all 34 acres.
I would never think it would have been that large. I would have said maybe 15, 16 at the most, but 34 acres, that's really something. So, and so then really with the city, they really just kind of monitor things a little bit, make sure things are okay. Right. Do they supply any financial support for the cemetery?
Yeah, right. They have a budget for the cemetery. I can't tell you what it is, but they have a budget, and then the trustees are the monitors of that budget and how it's spent. And the superintendent goes to the trustees to ask for whatever supplies or equipment that he may need at that time.
I guess Roger Havens is going to join us later in the second portion of our show in regards to a little history of the cemetery. But what is the oldest headstone here in Woodlawn?
Well, we don't know exactly the oldest headstone, but the first burial was the daughter of Chloe and Frederick Brown. And Frederick Brown was the son of, he's the brother of John Brown, the abolitionist. And his young daughter died, and his father, Frederick Brown's father, then donated an acre of land for him to bury his daughter here. And she is buried down closer to College Street. And we've restored her headstone, and she's buried with 2 of her brothers in that spot. That was the first burial. As far as the oldest headstone, I don't think we found it yet.
Okay. All right. Well, that's okay. Let that to the researchers, right?
Yeah, that's right.
They probably really get excited if they turn up a little nugget or something to go ahead and let the group know. I'm sure they get really excited about, especially now with modern technology, we can find things that we probably weren't able to do it in the 1800s.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, that's right. You can just jump on the internet now and do a lot of your research instead of going to the library or going to up to Medina to look through their records. They have it all online and you can just download it. The Ohio History Connection has a lot of information too.
Why have you and other people joined this group?
Well, it's just fascinating, and for me personally, it's a way to honor those who have gone before. These are the people that have started Wadsworth. They've they've put down their roots here and built Wadsworth, and I just feel it's important that we remember each and every one of them.
And other people probably have their own reasons for doing that as well, and it's something that they can give back to the community, and they feel really a satisfaction again when they've, again, as you say, cleaned a headstone or helped in some way, shape, or form to do other tasks as well.
Right, and we have a group of people. We have Mark Watkins, Alicia Hall, and Cheryl Madigan. They are looking to make sure all the veterans are remembered, because some of them don't have any designation at all. So they've been looking through records, and we're in the process of making sure nobody is forgotten for being a veteran.
Yeah, they would be here because the National didn't come to fruition to maybe 15 years ago, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So really the veterans of prior wars or service would be here.
Yeah, that's right. We have Revolutionary War veterans, Civil War veterans, 1812 veterans, the Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II. We have a few that were lost in the war, and they weren't brought back till much later. And we have headstones for them, but they were buried with their family. So it's interesting who is still here in Woodlawn. I don't think there's very many interments or disinterments to go up to the new one.
Do somehow you ever get contacted? Let's say you had a veteran that passed away in World War II, and unfortunately we have about 2,300 of those people dying each and every day.
Yeah.
Do you ever get any communication from the family saying, hey, we really appreciate what you did, or with planting the flower bed or cleaning?
Oh, absolutely. We get messages on our website or through Facebook too. You're doing a great job, keep it up. We had a woman in California contact us to clean her family's headstones who were here from the 1800s. And we cleaned them, sent her pictures before and after, and she was thrilled, just thrilled.
So let me get this straight. If someone has a distant relative that lived ago, they could contact you, and you would go ahead and put that on your list of cleaning?
Yeah, because we have a fundraiser. We have a fundraiser that's running all summer, and we will clean any headstone for $40. If it's a huge monument, we'll have to make an adjustment.
Sure.
But for $40, we'll clean any headstone. And this lady found us on Facebook. We put an announcement on Facebook, and she contacted us. And we've had quite a few that have called us and said, hey, just clean them. And they're very, very happy to have it cleaned. They look like brand new. And
that's just probably paying for your supplies and materials, $40. I mean, now how long would it take? Let's say you have a medium size headstone. How long would you estimate that might take to clean?
It takes, it depends on how dirty it is. Okay.
Surely.
The dirtier ones will take longer. But if it's just a relatively dirty headstone, we could clean it in about a half an hour.
Oh, okay.
And a dirtier one will take closer to an hour. Because sometimes we scrub them twice, and that gets a lot of the dirt off. But it's a process.
Sometimes husband's wife can, if you say they're people in the 70s, they could work together on one.
Yeah, right.
And that's kind of a way to kind of get a unified effort.
Yeah, that's right. And it's nice. It's peaceful. And a lot of the people who in our group who do clean the headstones say they love to come out in the evening because it's so nice and quiet. and it is. One woman brought her husband, and he just sat and watched her while she cleaned a headstone for somebody.
So it isn't just during the day. If you have a desert like today, it's cleaning and restoration. People could come various times during the day.
Oh, sure. We do have meetings the third Monday of every month at the Knights of Columbus at 6:30. And if they're interested, they could come there and they can find out when we're going to be here, or we could make an appointment that they could meet that. We could meet them here individually if they really have an interest in helping out.
So that's the Knights of Columbus, what, a Monday?
Third Monday
of the month?
At
Knights of Columbus.
6:30.
Okay.
Right. But we do make sure that if they're going to clean, they become a member for liability reasons.
Sure,
We
sure.
carry insurance, so they have to become a member to clean the headstones with us. So.
Deb Holcomb, I can't believe what I've learned so far.
Okay,
it's been a
good.
very good conversation. And why don't we go and you can show us exactly what we can do with cleaning.
Okay.
We'll be back
okay.
with the second segment in just a moment.
Thank you.
We're back with the second segment here at Woodlawn Cemetery with Deb Holcomb. And we have a guest with us, don't we, Deb?
This is Mr. Donald Dietz, and he has been a longtime member with us and really is getting into the cleaning end of things, but he's sort of our all-around handyman.
Well, I looked at that tombstone and I couldn't make very much out. I have to admit, Deb, it was really in pretty poor shape.
Yeah, it is, and it has even deteriorated a lot in just the 10 years. It's gone downhill just from erosion and that. So what he's doing now is he's wetting it so that the lichen and the dirt will be easier to scrape off, because that's the next step, is to use a plastic scraper and scrape it off. But you have to get it wet first so you don't damage the stone.
Now, you were telling me that the liquid can't be bought over the counter.
Right. We use a product called D2, and it's a biological cleaner that will not harm the stone, but it will kill the lichen, and you can only buy it from a dealer. We get it, we just call them and then they ship it to us. But it costs about $60 to $70 a gallon. So that's where a lot of our money goes.
Yeah, no question about it.
It's not cheap. So he's going to wet it down, and Mr. Dietz, I think we're just going to do the top part.
Alrighty.
Okay. So he needs one of these.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Dietz, you want to scrape it a little bit?
Sure thing.
Okay. Now he's just going to scrape it for a minute. Well, yeah.
And I understand the tombstone was for a youth that died early in life?
We found out she was 21, and she died in 1844. She was married, and that's all we really know. We don't know what she died of, but it was in an era where there was encephalitis was prominent. So we're just taking a guess that that's what she died of.
I would imagine there's quite a few tombstones like this that
Yeah.
you probably don't run out of work. There's probably hundreds of tombstones that you probably will get around to as time goes on.
Yeah, we will. There's not a whole lot more here in the old grounds. We still have about 20 to 25 yet to do in the old grounds for cleaning that we can. But then over just to the north, we have a whole lot that someday we'd like to clean those too. But now he's just scraping off the lichen, and you can see it's just sort of scraping, coming right off.
Yeah,
but the roots are still in there.
Yeah, it really looks
So-
like it's really coming off
Yeah.
in large quantities, and that certainly will allow other steps afterwards.
Right.
What will, when we do get the lichen off, what then will Mr.
Okay,
Dietz
I'm
do?
going to have him spray it with D2. And there's two ways you can use this. You can spray it on. And Mr. Dietz, would you go over the lettering in the front?
Sure.
Just like about a third of the way down. Just spray it now.
Okay.
Is it on?
And what
Yeah.
will that do? That will get the crevices and caked in dirt removed?
That helps get the lichen.
Oh.
What he's going to do, we're going to do a little speeded up version of this,
Okay.
okay?
That's
You
fine.
usually spray the D2 on and wait about 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
But we're going to do it just a little bit so you can see what's going on. Okay, Mr. Dietz, you want to start scrubbing it?
Certainly.
There's your scrub brushes, and there's a bucket of water. And we have many Oh, they're right in there. Just choose.
Looks like you
whatever
take
one
orders pretty good, Mr. Dietz.
Oh, hey.
You know, I'm kind of in
I
that
was a
vicinity.
husband for 44 years.
Okay, yeah, I've been down that path before.
That's why we like it. Now the scrub brush is a softer scrub brush. It's not a hard scrub brush. It's
So a little more
nylon.
flexible
It's
to
more
get
flexible.
into the letters and
Get
things.
into the letters. Plus, it's not going to do any damage to the headstone itself because it's marble, and you never ever want to use metal on a headstone ever because it just scrapes and scratches, and it will eventually eat away the lettering. So this is an easy way that we can use to clean the dirt off and get the lichen. Now, what will happen is that may turn a color. It may turn orange, it may turn green, but that means that that D2 is working, okay? And then we rinse it off, and then we spray it one more time, and we just walk away, and in about 4 or 5 days, you're gonna see it all lightening up to a white.
So it's kind of a delayed reaction,
Yeah.
just as you kind of walk away after 10 minutes to let it soak in, and then you do
Right.
the process, walk away, and you'll see the results in a couple, 3 days.
Yeah, that's right. And now we may not get the full results, but you're going to see a big difference just with scrubbing it. We reset this headstone last month, I believe. It's called a tablet, and it just sits down into the ground.
Well, I see a
Yeah.
marked difference already, don't
uh-huh,
you, Deb?
You can read the lettering
Yeah,
already.
that is.
And you notice he's going different ways. He's going up and down,
Right.
across the headstone, and then you go in a circle, and he just makes sure he gets it. And you want to keep that brush nice and clean. So he'll be, you want to rinse it off. You want to rinse your brush off there, Mr. Dietz. And you can use all kind of scrub brushes. As far as shape, we have grout brushes. There he's going with the circle.
But it's got to be the soft. It can't be real hard.
Right.
It's got to be
right.
flexible.
Yeah, right. And then we also use sometimes popsicle sticks. If there's something that we can't get out with the brush, we use those wooden skewers they use for shish kebab. Those are real good for getting out the junk that's left in the lettering, because it's wood and it won't hurt anything. So, like I said, you never want to use metal, and you never want to use harsh chemicals. Anything you buy at Home Depot or Walmart is a no-no.
I talked about couples doing it together, but one person is with the space and everything. It really works out really good with
Yeah.
solo. One
Right.
person doing it, and I say, Mr. Dietz is I'm a former educator. I'm going to get him an A for the day, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
I see.
He
What
is
a
great.
what a wonderful difference in that,
Yeah.
and it is.
Mr. Dietz, you want to just rinse it off with the sprayer, since we're just kind of doing a quickie. I already pumped it up, so it should be ready to go. And I think I can't quite see there, but it should show a little bit of difference. But like I said, this is a speeded up version.
Sure,
And we'll
sure.
clean the rest of it after, when you move on to the next segment. Mr. Dietz and I will finish it. But you can see, look at that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's quite a
just that little
quite a
bit.
difference indeed.
Right. So sometimes we use a product called Orvis, and it's a very soft soap that they use for horses,
Oh.
quilts. If there's a lot of dirt, we'll get that dirt off, and then we'll rinse off the soap, and then use the D2.
Now, across the way there, I
Mm-hmm.
see some headstones that really look white.
Yes.
Have those been
Yeah.
cleaned?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, those maybe Drew after the show could get those, because those really
And if you look
shine.
behind you, all of those have been cleaned too.
Wow. Oh,
This- Yeah, the ones here on the east side of the pathway are pretty much done, and there's like I said, there's probably about 25 yet to go on the west side. But it's fun. You pick a nice day. It's so satisfying to all of a sudden you read the lettering, and it's a person that comes out of there.
No question about it. I think certainly the cleaning can be done by various people who really don't have a great deal of background in construction or
Right.
masonry, but
Right.
it's something that they would consider.
Right.
And certainly the support, the monetary support, and the support of volunteers really helps to grow your group and do all the good things you do.
Right.
Anything else in closing you might talk to us about
Well,
about your role?
I just want to, I want to remind people that we do have a fundraiser all summer about cleaning headstones. And we have newsletters around at the library, at the senior center, at Midwest Memorials. They can pick up a newsletter and read what our latest projects are. And there's also a membership form on the back if they're interested in becoming a member. And like I said, they don't have to be actively involved, but boy, the money sure helps.
Yeah, with the expense of your cleaning materials, because
Right.
you can't get that at the regular hardware stores. You have to have a special kind, and the
Yes.
brushes certainly add
Right.
up. I've learned a lot, and I really
Okay.
enjoyed your time.
Good, thank
and I
you.
hope people will watch the show and learn as well about Woodlawn Cemetery.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and thanks for viewing Bruce on the Loose.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.